Good morning, Intenders.
Good morning.
Welcome and welcome back to Morning Intentions. Today is Thursday, July 16th. Thank you for joining us once again. Annette, thank you for joining me. So far this week, we've talked a lot about how we self-sabotage our life changes and our reprioritizing. We've talked about how our comfort zone, what we're used to, can pull us back. Yesterday, we talked about waiting until we feel ready, which will never come. Then our final way we're going to discuss that we self-sabotage ourselves is when we try to keep everyone happy. We can be wanting to make changes, and then we can say, oh no, they're going to get upset by this. They won't like it. They'll get mad at me. And then we just stop ourselves right in our tracks.
It's really the fear of disappointing people, or maybe you will be disappointing someone. And I've shared multiple times on the podcast about the struggles that I've had saying no that would fall into this category. We do self-sabotage, though, because if I worry about disappointing someone else, and like we say when we're teaching our communication, if I unmeet my own needs by meeting your needs, it still isn't a workable situation. There's still a lot of suffering there. And I can't show up as that best version of myself when I have such fear about disappointing someone else, or I'm going to take away somebody else's happiness. So that's a true, very real lived experience for many of us when we think about self-sabotaging.
We're not responsible, though, for other people's happiness. Of course, we want to follow our values. We want to be kind and be considerate. But at the same time, who says it's bad to be disappointed in life? I've been disappointed. People have disappointed me. I made it through. It's okay. And maybe my gut reaction, that initial reaction that I had, maybe it wasn't even that nice. Maybe I was more worried about how I felt than how they felt and what they were going through and the changes that they needed to make. And after I thought about it, it's like, okay, I can see where they're coming from. I want to support them. People don't even have time to think it through and make those adjustments if they don't feel that sense of disappointment, or you don't give them that opportunity to see where you're coming from.
So are you saying we don't even try because we have this in our minds, oh, if I would take this action, or if I would speak up and share my needs, the other person is going to be disappointed, hurt, whatever the case may be. And so we don't even say it. Are you saying right there is that we don't even give them an opportunity to maybe feel some disappointment, but then course correct and say, no, but I do want to be supportive. So tell me how I can help you with these changes that you want to make. Is that what you're sharing, Ada?
That's exactly right. We don't know how they're going to react. And in fact, we are putting a specific reaction on them. People can surprise us. People can shock us with their support, but we'll never know if we don't even try. And like I said, it's okay if people get disappointed in life. Life is, I'm probably not saying anything surprising here, life is full of disappointments, and that's okay.
But yet, if you're a certain type of person, just thinking about disappointing somebody else can truly hold you back.
I know, that's why I'm saying this to all my people who are worried about disappointing other people. And I've felt that too. I don't want to disappoint someone. And at the same time, it's okay if they get disappointed, because who knows what's going to happen after they feel that disappointment. They had expectations too. They had a clear vision of a specific outcome that they thought the relationship was going to have too. And then our change and our shift, our life changes and reprioritizing, it also throws off their vision too, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't say it.
So we have to give them time and space to process some of that. That leads to then the next category of sabotaging that we wanted to talk about for the rest of the week, which was when other people sabotage our changes and our reprioritizing. And the first point that we wanted to share fits in very well to what you're sharing. Many people sabotage, but it's completely unconscious. They don't realize that they're sabotaging. So even if they would make comments or in some way let you know that they're not pleased with what you're doing, what you're sharing is, number one, could just be speaking up and say, well, this isn't how I envisioned it. And number two, they also might say that the first day, and then 3 days later, they may come back and say, I thought about it. It really wasn't what I would have suggested, and I'm willing to support you.
But yeah, if you came up to me, Annette, and said, Ada, you know what? I don't want to be a personal development coach anymore. I want to have a food truck. It would knock my socks off. I could think all day and all year. I'd never think of that. And I would be disappointed because of how much I enjoy our work. And that would be okay. And maybe I would express my disappointment. Maybe I would tell you, well, that's disappointing. I had a 30-year plan to work together that I thought was going to be pretty amazing. So I would be disappointed to start, and then I would take some time, and then I would want to support you. I'd probably come work on the food truck with you because it'd be so much fun. But we don't know how someone's going to react, and we also have to give them time to be shocked. It's okay. And that could be one way someone shows up when we're expressing that we need to make some life changes and reprioritize. There could be the initial disappointment, and then they could get on board. However, there also can be the people, as you're mentioning it, who don't want things to change. They'll say things like, oh, come on. One dessert isn't going to hurt you. You've been great. They're going to want you to take that cheat day.
They could. And that is probably more about them than you.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to be eating the chocolate cake all by themselves, or they might have a story that they tell themselves about themselves if they're doing something like that. And when you're joining them, it makes them feel better. And now they're all alone and they don't like it.
Well, it's a psychological thing that when we're doing what we know isn't the best thing for us, we will try to recruit other people into those acts, because then having a group of people doing it then communicates to ourselves that it's okay to be doing that.
Safety in numbers, so to speak.
Exactly right. People may also comment, you've changed, as if that's a bad thing. They may say, you're no fun anymore. And maybe that's true. Maybe you have changed. Maybe you're no fun anymore. But people can use that as a guilt trip. Oh, you're no fun anymore. You used to be the fun one. Now you're just a party pooper. And if you're the type of person that Annette was sharing about before and you're afraid of disappointing others, that can shock you, and you can say, oh, I better go back to being the fun one. I don't want them to think I've changed too much and that I don't like them anymore. Okay, I guess I will take that cheat day. Oh, I'll give in a little bit. And then it becomes that slippery slope where we're sliding right back into what we always did that we know doesn't work for us.
Years ago, I had a friend. She and her husband had kids, the ages of our kids, Don and I. Her father-in-law used to be very unhealthy. And then he completely changed. He started running. He started watching his diet. He started doing all the things. And the amount of flack that guy got from his family. Oh, now we can't eat dinner, or we can't go on a picnic because grandpa wants to go running, or we can't pack this because grandpa's health. They just gave that guy such, you know what? And flack, that would be the appropriate word. But he stuck to it. And I never met the guy, but I heard about him and I heard about all the disgruntled feelings. That guy changed. He truly changed. He reprioritized. He prioritized his health through exercise and eating and getting enough sleep. I always say, who knows? Maybe right at that moment, you might be receiving a lot of flack from your friends and maybe your family. And 2-3 years later, you don't know. Maybe someone else will say, well, if grandpa did it, maybe I can do it too. Not letting ourselves get sucked down into this feeling of disappointment or feeling guilty and allowing other people to sabotage, because we're saying allowing other people to sabotage, but really are we going to accept that or not? We don't need to sabotage it.
We don't need to let someone else's sabotage turn into self-sabotage.
Exactly.
So for today, our intention is, I will choose myself over the sabotage. I will choose myself over the sabotage. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our day is better because you are part of our day. See you tomorrow.
See you then.